Let's just take a ride on the train of history. Not every train ride is a smooth one, and not every train car can accommodate every person. But as we lay new tracks, even the darkest tunnels will seem to give way to a ray of light, the light of hope. That's what tonight's show is all about, people changing the narrative, people having an impact and influence on others. Tonight's train ride is on track to be a good one, but as you know, the 30 doesn't come without controversy. Let's hope the ride doesn't derail too soon. Hello, family. Welcome to The 30. I'm Joshua Short, and tonight's show features a rising star in Safina De Jesus, an internet sensation and talented gymnast, and a TV star, Empire's Jussie Smollett. I'll speak with the both of them later on. First, though, the Short Circuit. Now, as you may know, the Short Circuit is a segment that focuses on campus-specific topics and issues that warrant a discussion or even a debate. Tonight, we talk money, specifically tuition at Columbia. The cost to attend Columbia is going up yet again, this time 4%. And that's nearly a $1,000 increase, which will lift the average undergraduate price tag above $24,000. Now, many students say the increase is an issue and getting an education is becoming that much more difficult. One person who knows a little bit about this is my next guest. Joining me is Frances Diedrich, a student at Columbia College, to talk all about it. Frances, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm out of breath, but I'll be okay. I just want to really talk to you for a minute about this lack of knowledge by the student body about this price tag going up. Can you speak about that a little?
Yeah, I mean, the tuition is going up again, it's at least the second year in a row. I'm probably more than that, but I've only obviously been here 2 years to witness it. And the students really don't know why is the big issue, is that the administration isn't really being clear with us about why our tuition is being raised, which is making it an issue.
And why do you think that is? Why isn't the administration being more, transparent about it?
To be honest, I can't say. I don't really have any concrete theories about why this is, but I can say that it is leaving students upset. As you probably know, there was a lot of call, especially last year, to get the budget to be transparent, but when they're raising our tuition and not even telling us why it's happening, students obviously aren't very happy about it. So I think if they did make it transparent, students necessarily wouldn't be happy about the raises, but they might be more willing to pay more.
So you've been here 2 years around, correct?
Yes, I'm a sophomore.
So you've seen this happen more than once. This is the first time it's happened in the last couple of years, and it's happening for the consecutive year next year.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's a $1,000 increase.
Yeah.
How are you being affected?
I'm definitely being affected, before I came here, my parents and I sat down and tried to figure out, how we're gonna pay for everything. And now with this increase, it's another $1,000 we have to find. And I'm sure next year it'll be another $1,000, So it's gonna end up being about $5,000 or $6,000 more than we planned on spending. And that's money we have gotta find somewhere.
Yeah, have you gotten any answers? Have you tried to talk to anybody like faculty or any administration members?
I haven't personally, but I know people who have, and there really haven't been answers that we've been getting. I mean, like I said, obviously the protest last year, try to get that. I know they didn't really get good results from that.
Now talk about the Student Center for a moment. They're hyping the Student Center up that we're supposed to have. It's supposed to be here 2018 or something like that.
Yeah, there have been a lot of rumors that some of the tuition is going towards a new Student Center. And I don't understand why that's necessary. We do already have areas that students can hang out, like the loft, which isn't heavily populated as it is. I don't think the students really need more space to hang out. And I would bet that if we were to pull students, they would much rather have more classes and more student jobs with this tuition money than a student center. I don't think it's something that's really necessary for the school.
Now, you mentioned student jobs. That's one thing that a lot of students would go for, especially when they see this increase happening in the near horizon.
Absolutely.
But this is something happening as of recent news that a lot of these jobs are getting cut now, and there's a lot of jobs that are not being offered anymore?
Yeah, the Cage especially, I know because I'm a TV major, so I know specifically within our department, the Cage is getting jobs cut. I know like office aides are getting cut, and I'm sure it's true across the board through all departments. I've heard friends saying that their things have been cut as well. So it's unfortunate when they're raising tuition. Obviously, all our students need to have jobs in order to take care of that, but then they're also at the same time cutting student jobs. It doesn't add up at all. Now,
there's a disparity going on, like an inverse relationship. I find it quite weird that the enrollment is down, but the budget is increasing, or the price to which to admit a student to the school is increasing.
Absolutely.
What is the cause of that? Have you or anybody else tried to inquire about that?
I haven't, but I really don't understand why that is. Like you said, it doesn't really make sense. If less people are attending the school, it shouldn't cost as much to keep the school running. You know, it just doesn't add up, like you said.
Yeah. What is it that, if you had to say anything to administration or to students that are in a similar predicament as yourself, what would you say to them? What would you ask them? How would you approach them right now regarding this issue?
I would ask specifically why the tuition raises are necessary and what they're going for. You know, if I were to know what they were for, then maybe I'd be more willing to pay, like I said earlier. And I would also want to ask, if we're paying more to go here, why classes are being so drastically cut. I know for myself and several other people, there are really important classes that we want to get into that aren't being offered anymore. I know especially classes on women and LGBTQ issues are being cut drastically, and those are two very important things, especially to Columbia students. I know we have a very large LGBTQ population here, and the classes about us are being cut drastically, and that's not acceptable, especially when we're paying so much money to go here.
Now, I want you to do something. This is kind of impromptu.
Okay.
But let's say the president or the CEO or someone from the higher office of Columbia College Chicago is watching this show right now.
Oh, dear.
I want you to look into that camera.
All right.
And I want you to tell them or ask them or express your anger about what's going on, just so that they can get an idea from a student, a sophomore who really thinks that Columbia is, what the motto is, live what you love, but you won't be able to do it because of the rise of admission. Can you please?
All right, right there.
Yes, direct your attention to the camera.
Well, I know a lot of people who really want to go here, and unfortunately, if tuition continues to be raised, a lot of people aren't going to be able to make it happen. And especially with classes being cut, the opportunities and what's making being here worth it is being taken away. So with both of these things happening, it's making it much harder to continue to be at the school and to continue to live what you love.
Hey, you did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Stuff like this needs to be told. So, Francis, I'm glad you joined us to talk about it. Again, it's such a topic that really, it's being ignored, quite frankly, and it's happening slowly, and students are being affected. And again, you talked about you being affected. I spoke to a student who said that he had to extend the date of his graduation by almost a semester, almost a year, in order to do that. So again, we appreciate you coming to speak on thousands of other students who are going through the same thing.
Well,
Francis,
thank you for having me.
No, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. After the break, are you registered to vote? We'll talk to Bree Bracy about how you can register and why this election is more important than ever. And don't forget, follow us on Periscope, Facebook, and Twitter at Frequency TV. Do it right now. And if you got some questions for me for my advice column later on, hit the mentions up, folks. This is The 30.
There's one place on campus where you can get everything you could possibly need. Books, school supplies, hard drives, clothing, backpacks, school spirit, and even snacks. The Columbia Bookstore, located at 624 South Michigan, is a quick, convenient stop for students of all majors. Need to buy, rent, or sell books back? The Columbia Bookstore has you covered. Stop in today and see all of the possibilities we have to offer. Columbia College Chicago, Frequency TV.
A few weeks ago, you may have been one of the thousands in Illinois who cast their ballots during the Illinois primaries. Some were re-elected, and even new faces came away with the W. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump both won the state for their respective parties as well. But why was this election important, and how does it differ from the general election in November? with more on the specifics, Bree Bracey is here to inform us, and she's a member also of this Columbia's SGA, which is something that, I mean, if you can be here and be on the SGA, that's good. I mean, you wear a lot of hats.
I do. Thank you very much. Actually, we just had our meeting a couple of hours ago, so I'm all over the place.
So you're here after you had a meeting?
Yes.
I love you so much.
So I'm happy to be here.
No problem. Hey, we're honored to have you. Real quick, let's talk about the differences for those who don't know, especially our younger audiences who are not aware of the differences between voting in the primaries, which Illinois just witnessed a couple of weeks ago,
right, and
November's general election.
Okay, right. So when you're voting in the primary election, you're voting for the candidate that you want to be selected for your party in the general election. So that's how they differ. In the primary election, you have all of the candidates that are running for office. In the general election, you only have two, and you have the Democratic, well, typically you have the Democratic candidate and the Republican candidate. It could be a different party, but that's generally what you have.
So if I turn 18 by election day, am I still able to register to vote in the general election right now?
Absolutely. A lot of places have same-day registration, which a lot of students don't know about. I know a lot of students said that they weren't going to go vote because they didn't register at the deadline, but you can just look up really easily if where you live has same-day registration, and it's super easy. You just go in, you tell them you want to register, and then you vote right there.
So when you say same-day registration, you mean the day that you actually go out to these polls and
Yes.
vote, you can actually register at the same time?
Yes.
So if anybody says anything different, they're lying.
If it's available. It's not available everywhere.
Okay, for sure. Now, there's a lot of people in different camps saying that 18-year-olds need to vote more because then if that happens, Bernie Sanders will win, or the 21-year-old and up need to vote because Hillary Clinton would win. What would you say? What is the advice? I'm not telling you to tell people who to vote for, but what is the advice for those new voters that you would give them specifically? Is there any advice you would give them?
Yes, I do. I think the biggest advice you can give anyone is it's very, very important to vote, so please go vote. The millennial vote is very important. I don't know if it's specifically 18-year-olds, but certainly they're in that bracket. And the millennials are the ones that want Bernie Sanders because he's a very progressive candidate. He's easily the most progressive candidate. Hillary Clinton does have a lot of progressive issues, but Bernie Sanders is right there. And because we have an election right now where we have someone who's like Donald Trump that people across the world are kind of worried about, a lot of people are looking to millennials for really, really voting. So you have someone in office that's not.
So I think a lot of people would ask that, like, Donald Trump is running for president, Hillary Clinton is running for president, and this guy Bernie Sanders. So should I vote? Why should I vote? What would you say to those voters?
I would say that if people are concerned about who is going to be in office, then they absolutely need to vote. If you don't care at all who's going to be in office, then obviously you wouldn't vote. But people seem to have a lot of concern about Donald Trump being in office, which I think they absolutely should. And if they don't want him in office, then that's why you should vote. If you want your party to be in office, you have to vote.
Can you explain, I don't know if you know too much about this, but the delegate count and all of this information about how many delegates will be needed, does that actually happen in the general election too, or is it just the primaries where delegates are counted? And is that what determines who gets into the general election in November? I think that's it.
So every state gets a certain number of delegates in their electoral college. So every single state in the United States starts with 3, and then the rest are dependent on how many, like your population size for your state. So if you have more people, you'll probably get more delegates. If you're less people, less delegates. That's how it works. So when you're voting in the primary election and when you're voting in the general election, your vote is actually telling your delegates who you want them to vote for. They're the ones who make the official vote, technically. So you're saying, I want this person to be president, and then the delegates say, this is what the people in my state want, this is who I'm going to vote for. Generally, technically they can vote for someone who is other than who the state's voted for, and of course we saw that in 2000 in Florida when we had George W. Bush win, even though he didn't win the popular vote. But that situation is very rare.
Okay, it's very rare, but it does happen actually, correct?
It has happened once that I know of.
Oh my goodness, that's something that's scary actually if you think about it. That's something that actually has come up a couple of times in the media. But really quickly, you're part of SGA here at Columbia, a Student Government Association for those of you who are novice about that. I'm curious how you guys are trying to push people to vote here at Columbia specifically. Is there anything that you guys are implementing in the system there?
Right. A lot of organizations on campus, not just Student Government Association, are pushing people to vote. I know one organization that's doing the most is Action Columbia. They have this whole platform for how to get people to vote. They have posters around informing people. Organizations like Art and Activism have sort of posters about the candidates and like tell you, situations. Student Government Association is really focusing on MAP grants right now, but certainly people and organizations are telling everybody why it's important to vote. We have across the board.
You wear many hats. You even just mentioned the MAP grants, which is a whole nother story. But
yes.
Bree Bracey, we thank you for joining us so much.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. Coming up, Beyonce captivated the sports world Super Bowl weekend, but many say this young gymnast had her moment that weekend as well with an unforgettable routine. We'll talk to Safina De Jesus coming up next. But first, the critically acclaimed hit show Empire finishes the second half of season 2 tomorrow night. Jussie Smollett, who plays the character Jamal Lyon in the show, recently came to Columbia and spoke with me about a range of topics. He also hinted at what to expect for the remainder of this season.
You need a god to produce you. I'm gonna produce you.
I'm serious, Dad. Superstar status.
What do we expect for the rest of the season? I know you can't say too much.
I'm about to give y'all every spoiler alert. No, what we'll see is what I'm excited about, is we're gonna see really us tackling the idea that what happens to a broken family, because this family is so broken, and we didn't want to see the Lyon family the way that we saw them in the beginning of the second season, but that needed to happen in order to really explain what's happening in the second part of the second season, which is what happens when a mother goes away to prison for 17 years. You know, what are the true effects of that on her family?
What is this about?
See, we put you where you are, so why did you decide to...
Without giving too much away, what you're going to start seeing is the Lyon family battling outside sources versus battling each other. But they have to come back together and fix who they are. So it's exciting. It's exciting.
Are you saying Lucius is inauthentic?
I'm saying Lucius Lyon ain't even his real name.
Real quick before you leave, because we got a flight, we got to give you this. Last episode, you got to wear this shirt. Yeah, hold that, take a picture, take it. Thank you so much. Yeah, I really can't stay.
One, two, three, blast off. Hop into my rocket ship, I'll fly us to the moon. If we hurry, we'll arrive tomorrow afternoon. We could take our daddy's rover out under the stars, park it in a crater and pretend the moon is ours. If this feeling ever dies, I'll kiss you when you close your eyes. We'll turn our heads up to the skies, watching the earth rise. The days will all turn into months, and I mean literally. That should give us a whole bunch of time to go sightseeing. We'll find a glory in the turf and give her a salute. Plant a new flag for the earth, it's the least that we could do. This is where we're supposed to be, here in 1/6 gravity. So let's give moon rocks across the sea of tranquility. Oh.
We welcome you back to the 30. Now, it's not easy being a student with your own show, having a job, internships. It's really hard. But my next guest gives me confidence that if you can appear on talk shows and news programs while being a student and an athlete at UCLA, as well as a star gymnast there, I should have no complaints. Sofina de Jesus joins us on the 30 via phone all the way from UCLA. Sofina, how are we doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I am fantastic. First of all, how's the weather out there?
It's amazing right now. I mean, you know, it's a little bit bipolar sometimes. You know, it was raining the other day, but today it's been pretty nice. Nice and sunny. Good day.
Look, I'm a little jealous from Chicago. It's been rainy, it's been sleeting, it's been snowing. Really quickly, though, I want to know how you've been. This last couple of months, you've taken over internet airwaves. You've been taking over news and talk shows. How has this last month and a half been for you?
It's been amazing. Such an awesome experience. I've gone on the Ellen show, which was super fun. Got to meet her for the second time in my life, and so that was great. And then I got to meet my idol, Twitch, my dance idol, so that was an amazing experience. And then Chris Brown, reshared my video on Facebook, so a lot of awesome things have been coming out from my viral routine, and now I get to talk to you.
Oh, see, stop it. I'm going to blush. Stop it. I'm really wondering, though, you said twice on Ellen. When was the first time you've been on Ellen?
The first time I was on Ellen, I was about 13 years old, and it was for this group that I had that I was in. It was called Mix 5, and we won a hip-hop international competition, which is all different countries around the world, and Japan and stuff like that go and dance it out and stuff like that. And so we won, and so we got to go on to the Ellen show, and it was super fun, such an amazing experience. We were so excited we couldn't even handle it, and all the adults were telling us, calm down, calm down. But obviously, how can you calm down when you're meeting Ellen? So I've always been a crazy hyper person, but the next time I went on Ellen, I was a bit more calm, but it was super fun and an amazing time I had.
That's amazing. Your routine has captivated the globe. It has been an inspiration to women, children, and a lot of people here in Chicago. How does that feel?
Oh, it felt amazing. I didn't even know it was going to go viral in the first place. When I went up and did my floor routine, I was just super excited to finally go out and do it again and perform it for the first time this year. And so I was just like worried about going out, perform, have fun, and then when it happened, I didn't even know it was even posted anywhere. My mom called me and told me like, hey honey, so your 14 has 5 million views, and I was like, okay, my mom's just being a sweet mom, you know, big supporter and whatnot. So I was like, okay, thanks mom, like talk to you later. And then my coach called after that and told me the same thing. I was like, okay, this is serious. And so I was just super excited, and then I got really nervous. And at the meet that I had after that, bars was one of my best events. And so that meet after my 14 went viral, I got really super nervous, and I was like, oh no, like what if I don't live up to the expectations? And then before I was about to go on to bars, I was like, okay, well what if my bars goes viral? And then all these weird thoughts started going to my head, and I ended up falling on bars, and I face planted it. And it was so embarrassing. And I was like, okay, after that, I was like, forget it, like, have fun, do you, like, enjoy yourself. And so that's what I did, and I did really good after that, and I've just been having fun ever since. So it's been really cool, and it's had amazing moments that I'm so happy it happened.
That's what it really all is about, is having fun and being joyous and doing what you love, really. But I'm curious to know about your family, the support system there, and your team members.
Oh, everyone has been super, super supportive. My family especially, they've been my rock through my whole entire life from childhood until now, because I've been such a crazy child when I was younger, and they've always been there for me. Like, my mom was my homeschool teacher, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, driving back and forth between practices and all that stuff. And my sister, we're only like 15 months apart. So she is like my twin. So we're different in personality-wise, but I call us the Three Musketeers because we're so close, and my mom's my #1 fan. And my dad has always been there, you know, driving me around here and there, and my brother is amazing. Like, my whole family has been amazing and just awesome, and I look up to them all the time for help and all that. And my teammates have been awesome as well, super supportive. Before I went up to do that floor routine, they were so excited for me to finally perform it, and were cheering me on and dancing with me the whole entire way. So everything has been amazing, and my teammates and my family are there, and I'm so happy that they're behind me, and I'm having fun all the way for my senior year.
And that's what counts. Now, Olympic talk is around the corner. I want to know from you, what's the controversy around the Olympics? Apparently, you're too old.
I mean, okay, so, like, normally the peak time for gymnastics, the Olympics, is about 16 to 18 years old, and I'm 21. Now, when I was around that age, my dream was to go to the Olympics, and I was training super hard, and I was on the national team for the United States of America, and I was training really hard. I got to go to Japan, and I won first place on floor, and I came back and I started training really, really hard, and then I fractured my back. And so that was really devastating, and at the time, like, my Olympic dream was kind of over. But I feel like everything happens for a reason, so I got to go back to high school and enjoy the rest of my time there, because I had to take gymnastics off, and I ended up meeting new friends, and I joined the dance team, and I had an amazing experience, and I wouldn't change that for the world. And then I got to come to UCLA, and this whole viral thing that happened, it felt like that was my Olympic moment, because I've always wanted to do the Olympics for the performance aspect, and to, like, show people that you can do whatever you set your mind to. And so that viral moment was my shining moment. And now, I mean, I have transferred my citizenship for gymnastics to Puerto Rico, and a couple years ago, I was going to try to do some international competitions with them, and then hopefully go to the Olympics from there. But at that time, it was really hectic. I sprained both of my ankles, and it was really hard to juggle doing school and college gymnastics and then training for that. So it wasn't really working out. And now if they go to ask me, of course I would be open to it. That would be an amazing experience. I would love that, and it would be another dream come true. But most gymnasts are kind of done between those younger ages. There are quite a lot of people that are about like 45 doing gymnastics, or 30, or their late 20s, but I've been doing gymnastics for so long, for 15 years, and I think my time might be up, and I'm hoping to experience my other two passions after I'm done with gymnastics in 3 weeks.
You are amazing. There's too much to even talk about. We need to push this conversation to a little bit later on. But again, Sofina, we thank you for joining us. It's been an honor. You're good at everything, talking to, I must say. But again, we thank you so much for being here on the third. We thank you so much, okay?
Thank you so much for having me.
And we'll be right back. Folks, it's about that time. Our last segment of the night will be me giving some lucky viewers advice. Subjects range from people having secret crushes to someone's little brother discovering himself. First advice is to @ChaseyPoo_Z. That name is taken for the folks at home. The question goes as follows: what are some tips for saving money without becoming a hermit who doesn't do anything with their friends? Well, my advice to you, Chasey Poo, is get some cheaper friends. First of all, your friends should not be trying to splurge every single day, go to Red Lobster instead of McDonald's every day. You need to make sure that your friends are a little bit more frugal, a little bit more economical, because then when that happens, it creates a chain reaction. And for you, in my opinion, what I've been through with people who's had a little bit more money than I have, I make sure that I tell them, maybe you should save because then maybe you can get this new car, or maybe you can get this little apartment complex. Anything that'll help everyone save money is what I advise. But if your friends are just the type that just like to splurge, I would need to find new friends. Some are on Michigan and Wacker, but we'll talk about that later. Our next person seeking advice is at CJKS98. Cullen, that name is taken too. What do you do when your family does not respect your political views? Now, this has been a heightened question over the last few months, especially with Donald Trump revitalizing this Republican Party and what have you. I mean, look, you're entitled to your opinion. I know you have to respect your parents' opinions, but you cannot disrespect what you feel. They can't disrespect you, nor can you disrespect them. And again, it's a reciprocal effect. You have to make sure that no matter what, you stick to what you think is right. You stand by your guns, no matter who it is, your parents, girlfriend, boyfriend, significant other, whatever it may be. But at this time of year or this time of our lives, we need to be very cognizant of what we're headed toward. It isn't just a political revolution that you're seeing. It's something that's going to affect generations to come. So you want to make sure that whatever your opinion is, you want to stay next to your guns. And I use guns lightly. Our next question is at Connor_Kenneth. And this is going to be one of the final questions for tonight. Do you have any tips for the crave that sets in after weeks away from the one you love the most? Now, that's just beautiful, Connor. My opinion is talk to him on the phone. That's it. Talk to them on the phone, Skype them, anything. I mean, technology, that's what it's for. Stop complaining. Plus, I think I know who you're talking about, but we won't talk about that right now. Anyways, that does it for the 30 tonight. I want to thank all of my guests for their commentary and making this show a great one. Stay tuned in April for my next episode right here on Frequency TV. For the crew and everyone else here at Frequency Television, Joshua Short saying so long from the Windy City.